What's going on, big strong gamers? It is Benser, and today we are going to be doing the top 5 assault rifles within Cold War Zombies. If you haven't already, leave a like, subscribe, all that cool nonsense really helps out. Plus, speaking of that, shout out to Arton Pamered, and if you subscribe just like him, I'll shout you out. Plus, I won't break your kneecaps. So let's get into it, gamers. So number 5 on our list today is going to be the Targaryen assault rifle, or aka the Groza. This rifle was introduced in about season 1, and it's still kind of slept on. It's actually a fairly good rifle. It resembles a lot of the other weapons, like I would say a FAMAS Commando, like just made a baby. This is going to be our number 5. This weapon is actually fairly decent. Not a lot of people use it because, season 1, who really cares? The damage on it is actually really good. It does, you can see in the gameplay just as shown, about 31,000 damage with Ring of Fire. So if you reduce that, about 7,000 per shot with a regular critical hit without Ring of Fire. This weapon all around does have a really good multiplier. It has about a 4.2 head multiplier damage. You do have to have Deadshot for this though. But on the other hand, you do actually have quite a bit of ammo within the mag. I'm not running the 50 mag, but one pack-a-punch, you can get over 100 shots. I do believe so. Correct me if I'm wrong once again. But also, it does have a fairly fast reload time. In a empty mag, it does about 2.3, but you can reduce this by quite a bit to about 1.4 seconds, depending on the mag size with speed cola, so not too bad of a reload. It's cockback, of course, with the empty reload is going to make it a little bit slower, so if you have just say a dumped mag where you just tinge it out after about 40 shots, it's only going to take about 1 second, which is not too bad considering all things it is an assault rifle. The reload is one thing, but also the range on this weapon is actually really decent. It carries through a lot of extra damage for a fast firing weapon. It can be outclassed, hence why it is in the tier 5, but all around it is a very solid assault rifle. Personally, one of my favorites. I love the design and everything about it. It looks really cool, unique. Plus also the recoil on it isn't even bad. I mean, as you can see with the gameplay, I don't even have it tricked out or anything, but still holding up. That's tier 5 for us gamers. Let's get into tier 4. Alright, we have the EM2 or the EMC2, a really great assault rifle just recently added within Season 5 Cold War Zombies. And let me tell you, this weapon is a beast. If you can describe this weapon with literally another weapon, it would straight up just be the Man of War. This weapon all around is great. It has ultimately no recoil, high damage, a little bit lower of a fire rate, but it's still there. It's not slow like an LMG, and overall the weapon does have some really great stats. It carries through with damage, range. The reload is a little bit iffy, and also the clip size as well. I mean, as you can see, you can only get about a maximum of about a 40 clip with this weapon. You can't get any higher, so within zombies you're only going to get about 80 in the mag. I don't have it maximized in this build, so pardon that, but regardless, it still is great overall. I mean, the reload on it, 2.6 for an empty clip. It does outclass the Groza quite a bit in terms of damage. I mean, as shown right now with Ring of Fire, it is only tier 1, and it is still doing an insane amount of damage. I mean, this weapon has probably the most range within zombies. I mean, you have so much, and really it feels like an LMG sort of mixed with an assault rifle. Assault rifles tend to be fast firing, and this one is kind of a catch of fresh air, I would say, because it does classify as an assault rifle but feels like an LMG. I know I've said that the rate of fire is slow, but to be actually exact, the rate of fire of this weapon is about 535 RPM, one of the, if not slowest RPMs within the assault rifle category. Weapons like the XM4, the FAMAS, they have a hires of about over 700 RPM. To put that in retrospective, it really does take a lot longer to use the clip. I know I kind of did bash the clip to begin with, but 80 in the clip is actually fairly well for a weapon with about 535 RPM. In terms of speaking, you're able to shoot this weapon for about 12-ish seconds, maybe 10, depending on how fast and how long you actually burst it. So overall, pretty great. I really do like this weapon alone because it does have a lot of uniqueness to other rifles within Cold War. The thing about this weapon is that makes it personally a little bit more unique to me is the slow fire rate, the clip size, and how well it actually does within range. The range on this weapon is definitely one of the best parts of this weapon. I mean, it does have some pretty overall good stats, but the range is really what makes it shine. But let's get into tier 3. Alright, now we're getting into the more juicy weapons. We have the Xenomatter 4000 or the XM4. This weapon is a staple within zombies. I mean, the Commando assault rifle from Black Ops 1 reintroduced back in action, baby. I mean, this weapon overall is amazing. The headshot multiplier alone is about 4.4 times, so you're gonna be cranking out a lot of extra damage with this weapon if you hit your headshots. It's a really stable weapon, not as much as the EM2, but nonetheless it is still pretty great. The damage overall is a pretty solid rifle. I mean, it's not the best. I would consider it about a B, but what really makes it on par with other weapons or even better is the actual rate of fire, which is about 750 RPM. The RPM is great on this weapon. I mean, 750, like I said, and considering the fact that you have a maximum clip of about 105 bullets, it really does pair well, just like the EM2 and some other assault rifles really don't get on the commando level when it turns into actual, just overall greatness. Some weapons do have higher damage, but they really do be bouncy, or they're just overall not as well. I do put this in the solid 3, mainly because, well, I mean, it's really just an overall just good rifle. I wouldn't say it's the best. It'll get you some places, and some other places, other weapons will do better. I'm not trying to say the weapon's bad, because honestly, even just with tier 2 Pack-a-Punch alone with Ring of Fire, it does about 21,000 damage per headshot, and that doesn't seem like a lot. I get it, I understand, but hey, the weapon does have a very fast RPM, which is only beat by a couple other handful rifles. I'd say about maybe 2 or 3. Just overall a good weapon, and one I would recommend. But gamers, let's get into tier 2. Now for tier 2, we have the Nira 51, or aka the Farah 83. This weapon overall is just the XM4 but better. Everything about this weapon, the stats, damage, range, not so much the clip, because the clip on the X4 is better, but nonetheless it still is a lot better. I mean, the rate of fire on this weapon is even 50 more than the XM4. Now you might be thinking, well, why would you want a higher rate of fire with a gun that has, a smaller clip? It's about 25 less. Ben sir, why would you want that? And the reason I say this is because the damage on this weapon just beats, honestly, it just beats the XM4 by a long shot. Overall, you get about 6 to 10 extra damage. It doesn't seem like a lot, but in terms of multiplayer to zombies converter, that's quite a bit of extra damage. I do have this weapon, only tier 1 Pack-a-Punch with Ring of Fire does about 11,000 damage. That's a 1/6 of max zombie health within Cold War Zombies, as you can tell. That is a pretty big amount just for it being round 11 with tier 1, as you can imagine. With tier 3 of this weapon, it exceeds a lot. I mean, who wouldn't want to use the Nira 51? This weapon has one of the best stats within the game. It is ultimately the XM4, but just better. It has really great range, and what it excels in is also the rate of fire. It is the fine blend in between damage and rate of fire, and personally, I really do enjoy this weapon, and playing with this one the most out of all of these weapons. The EM2 is great, but the Farah is definitely my go-to, even considering we're about at tier 1 of this list, which you guys probably want to see. So on that, gamers, let's get into tier 1. It is the Rasputin's Retribution, or aka the AK-47. This weapon overall is amazing. I mean, just with this alone, I'm doing about 4,300 per headshot with a weapon that has about a rate of fire of about 560, not 160 by the way. This weapon has the best damage within Cold War Zombies, easily. There nothing doubts it in my mind. It is around 12, and I have 23,000 damage per headshot alone. This weapon has 99 bullets in the clip. That is a very, very big number, and that number is about 2,475,000 damage. Keep in mind, this is tier 2 with blue rarity. We're not just basing it off alone, but this weapon packs a literal punch. This weapon is one of the best weapons within Cold War Zombies, easily, considering things, if you're not really looking at a Hauer shotgun or an M16 rifle, this weapon is your go-to. I mean, this weapon overall is iconic. It has great damage, great reload. You reload it in about 1.3 seconds with Speed Cola, which If you don't know, that is literally amazing. I mean, you have about 99 shots. It could have more. Some weapons beat it within that, but the thing that excels within this weapon is damage. Overall, it is amazing, but damage is where it comes in the best. I mean, overall, you could just sit here and say that the rifle itself just has one of the best ranges within the game itself. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot considering you have weapons like the EM2, which do outclass it with the range. I'm going to be honest here. But the AK is just the best overall weapon with the highest damage potential in Cold War Zombies. It is my favorite. I love it the most. It is definitely one of the better ones, and a lot of people like this weapon for particular reasons. Even my best video on my channel is a weapon guide about this weapon. This weapon is amazing and I love it. Plenty of people do. It's great. But hey gamers, if you made it this far, you deserve a cookie. I love you. You know, leave a like, subscribe, all the cool nonsense. Tell me how I did. Is my whole video trash? Yes or no, gamers? Tell me. But other than that, gamers, I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day.